Hi there and welcome to my free online masterclass here on YouTube Live. I'm super excited that I already see so many people in the waiting room. This is really cool. Thank you very much for being here. Today we're going to work together on 2 exercises out of the essential Arbans. I think the Arbans is the Bible for brass players. I touch this book every day. I try to refine my technique every day, try to get better with my articulations and all these technical aspects here. So it's definitely my go-to method book. I really encourage you to practice out of this a lot. The first exercise we'll do is on page 17, it's exercise 11. And this exercise focuses on a really crystal clear articulation and on playing with a good sound. These are my main goals all the time when I play any kind of music. So I find this exercise particularly challenging and, it's really hard to make it the way you exactly want it to be. So let's work on this. I like to practice these exercises always with the metronome on the backbeat. That way I can focus on the clean articulation and the click of the metronome is not happening at the same time as I articulate the note. And then I have the rhythmical event happening with the backbeat of the metronome. That keeps me on track. First step for me was to play this exercise all on one pitch, focusing on a clear articulation, on the articulation that I exactly want. I practice it on tempo 80. 1, 2, 3. What is really important when you do it is that you don't just play meaningless notes. Don't play note after note after note. That is completely besides the point and that is not making music. You need to be able to phrase, sing, go from note to note and create something special. I try to phrase already now when I'm just playing simple note after note after note, but they all have a musical meaning. So try to always incorporate that in your practicing. If you don't do it on fundamental, on your basic practice, you won't be able to achieve it also on stage. Next step for me is now play the actual notes. Again, focus on keeping your air going from note to note, keep your sound open and focus on the clean articulation. When breathing, try not to lose any time, keep going and don't make too big of a gap. 1, 2, 3. You can experiment with this exercise in your practice room in many different ways, many different articulations, use heads, use accents, use lines, use a legato on top of it, staccato. You can also play them super soft, super loud. Try to really explore different styles and different dynamics, different articulations with these rattle. 1, 2, 3. it is for this exercise. Continue this part of the book. Explore, try different things. Have fun with it. I think that is the most important thing with these etudes. Try not to get bored. Try not to play meaningless notes. The next part of the masterclass, we're going to focus a little bit on my Patreons for a second. And I really want to thank them for supporting me and for making these events possible. They have subscribed to their tier, and with whatever tier they subscribe to, they support me and they make these events possible. So thank you very much to all my Patreons. If you haven't checked out that site yet, go to patreon.com, type in my name, and I hope you enjoy that platform. I hope you enjoy the content there. Subscribe and also become my Patreon. Also, go down below to YouTube and subscribe, hit the bell, so you can also always get notified when I go live and when new content drops. Actually, tomorrow on my Patreon, every first of the month, I drop new videos. Tomorrow I'll actually drop 5 videos, or 6 maybe. I think it's 6. I talk about the standard literature. This month it is the 3rd movement of the Grondar Concerto. And there's going to be 5 really, hopefully useful instructional videos where my patrons can actually practice with me. I play first and then they copy me. And I'm going to show you actually one of these backing tracks now. I want to work with you on scales. Scales are so much fun. And it seems like the trombone world a little bit neglects them. We don't tend to practice them so often, even though they're so much fun. You just have to create something special and make them fun for your own sake. If you look at pianists or string players, they practice scales all day long and it brings their playing to an absolute different level. So I hope you also get a little encouraged now to practice your scales after this session. And as I said, I create these backing tracks where there's a drone on, there's a metronome on, and all I can focus on is the clear articulation and playing with a good sound. Let me show you how these look like a little bit. And so on. So you can see from these, there's a backing track that helps me get the tonal center in my ear, really lock in that, and then hopefully get the intonation correct. And then all I focus on is really going with a lot of air from note to note, getting a pristine and clear articulation, whatever articulation I choose for this exercise. And then I go through the entire horn. I start low and I end up on the high F. So I try to cover every scale every day that I can imagine on my horn. So I think that will push your limits. It will help you with your technique. It will help you also with different articulations. You can do scales in so many different ways. As I said, this is just one particular backing track that I created. There's many more, many different ways to approach the scales. So try to, get a little bit crazy with these. Experiment around. And especially have fun. That's the main thing. If you have fun with the scales, your scales will get better. Your level of playing will also get better. Good. That was it for my Patreon side of things. Now let's go back to the Arbans. Next one that I choose, and this is the last exercise that we'll do today on this Arban's Essentials. Let's call it part 1. Hopefully there will be more parts, more masterclasses on this. Is dotted rhythms. This is on page 32, exercise 13. And I've chosen dotted rhythms because we have to play them often in our literature. Let's face the David concertino. Dotted rhythm keeps coming back. Another really essential excerpt that you have to learn as a trombonist is the Ride of Valkyrie. It's a dotted rhythm. So it keeps coming back in our literature, so I really want to take a moment to work on this. I think it's crucial to work on basics and figure out your issues there rather than work on the David Concerto or the Ride of the Valkyries. Too often, try to fix these issues in the Arban's book. There's so many exercises where you can tweak these issues, so I think it's really much more helpful to fix it on the book rather than on the excerpt or on a piece. The first step is actually to practice this etude or this exercise just singing. And what I want you to focus on here is that every note starts with a clear ta. Da 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 da. I subdivide here already physically, but physically it's just to then bring it into my brain, so then when I play, I really hear these little subdivisions in my brain while I play. Crucial here is correct rhythm, so subdivisions, switch on your metronome, conduct or clap, and then da 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 da. The 16th note and the note after the 16th note have to have the exact same articulation. We tend to sometimes cheat that a little bit, either ta da 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 or ta da ta da ta. Sometimes we cheat that a little bit. It becomes more clear to the listener when you articulate these notes all the exact same way. So just work on that rhythm on one pitch to get that really clean. I'm going to practice this exercise now on tempo 80, and I'll switch on all the subdivisions with my metronome. So I can just focus on the exercise. I'll just play it on F. Sorry, I got carried away. I played the actual notes. Let me go back, reset button. Let's play everything on F. And so on. So that's your first step. Get your tongue and especially your brain, your thinking of how you articulate these notes. Try to line that up first and then you add the notes. Now let's practice it with the correct notes. Again, there's many different ways to do this. You can sustain the first note really long. You can have a little decay on it. So many different styles here. You can, whatever orchestra you're auditioning for, you can use their style on this exercise. Orchestras tend to have differences on these kind of rhythms. Some really sustain, some just back off a little bit. So you can find the traditions of orchestras and then adapt it into your Arbans. I'll play rather sustained. I try to sing through the note now, but not too sustained. Alright, once you figure that out in a slow tempo, try to get a little bit quicker day by day, add 2 clicks until you end up on tempo 100. I think that's a good tempo for this exercise. Let me play this. And again, try to really sing through every note, and whatever style you choose, stick with it. You can add kind of 2 dots and make it a 30-second note just for the sake of practicing, for example. That's an exercise that you can do. But let's stick to the way it's written now. Try to focus on your continuous air support from note to note. The tongue needs to be supported with air. If there's no air behind the tongue, then it's just... Every note needs to be supported with air. And then focus on your clean articulation. Alright, the most important aspect of this is that you're having fun, that you experiment around. This is your safe space. You're at home practicing in your safe space. So experiment around, have fun with it. Alright, this is it for today's masterclass. Again, I thank the patrons for supporting me for making this happen. Make sure to go and check out that page, and hopefully you can also support me. Post your videos of playing these two exercises, send them my way, ask for feedback. I hope I can help you out somehow to make this better, to have a better experience in the practice room. Again, thanks so much for being here. Drop your questions on the side over there. I will answer them after now. Also, if you have any more questions, just connect with me on Instagram, on Facebook, or here on YouTube. I'll always be happy to help you. Thank you so much for being here, and make sure to tune in next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.